All right, we have a situation here. We have brushes that haven't been cleaned in over 6 months. We're gonna declutter. We've had brushes here that have just been sitting for over 10, 15 years. They're wonky, they are falling apart. We're gonna donate some of the brushes that we just have an excessive amount of. Let's just jump on into it. I don't need this many brushes in my life. About 2 years ago, I went a little crazy over the holidays and I bought a bunch of brushes that were on sale. The reason why I have so many brushes is because I am so lazy when it comes to brush cleaning. I just didn't want to clean them as often. So there goes all of these brushes. I just woke up and I haven't even brushed my hair. Anyways, when I'm sitting down doing my makeup, I get anxiety because of the amount of brushes I had. So I figured that this is a time. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you like declutter videos, organization, cleaning, let me know down in the comments. Let's jump on into it. If you want to see my makeup stash, let me know down below in the comments because I always love watching people's makeup. Oh my God, you have to see my dog. Hold on. She is halfway falling out of the chair. Elsie, I'm sorry. Did I disturb your peace? Okay, go back to sleep. So we're gonna go in order. Start first with our face powder brushes. Then we're gonna go into foundation brushes. Then we're gonna go into contouring blush brushes. Then blending brushes, and then detailed brushes. These are extra ones that I couldn't fit. So I have 2 of these same brushes, and a lot of my brushes are from Morphe. We were all obsessed with Morphe at one point. It's the exact same as this one from Jaclyn Hill Morphe, so this is wonky. So I am gonna toss this one out. I am gonna keep this one. This one I am gonna keep. I found a good use for it. It was good to use with the Patrick Ta blushes because his blushes are crazy pigmented. And this one actually mimics the fibers of his brush, so I didn't wanna buy his. And it's perfect, so I started using this one. So I'm gonna keep that one. Here is one that I purchased from TJ Maxx a while back. This is a powder brush. I do like this because it is like duo fibery. I don't find myself using it as often, so I'm gonna give this one away. This is a brush that I've had since the very first time I started getting into makeup, which was over 15 years ago. This is a Too Faced powder brush. It is perfect for picking up your powder. It had really great reviews, and this brush has held up, and it's been 15 years. I'm gonna keep this one because it is attached to my heart. This is a Real Techniques powder blush brush, and I have found good use for it with the Patrick Ta blushes or any pigmented blush that you have. This just does a really good job at it, so I am gonna keep that. Another brush that I find no use for, so I am gonna give this one away. This one is a powder brush from Ulta Beauty. I use it from time to time, but again, it's just taking up space, so I am gonna give that one up. We're left with these. So, okay, we're in a step in the right direction. Foundation brushes. These are 2 similar brushes. This is It by Ulta. I'm always raving about this brush. I have 2 of them. I use cream products so often, so I am gonna keep both. These here from Sigma. Who remembers these? The Sigma F84, and then this one is the F80. I don't ever reach for these. I just find them to be too dense for me. I have the other ones that I prefer, but I did use these up a long time and they are very sturdy. Sigma has some of the best brushes. Morphe tried a dupe map, but Sigma did it right. I'm gonna give these ones away. Morphe brush M439, too dense for me. Never reach for this one. It's a really good one, but it's taking up space. I'm giving this one up. BH Cosmetics has really great brushes. They are so cute. They are sturdy. None of them have flopped on me. And they're just the cutest packaging and the quality is so there. I am gonna keep this one. At one point I found this to be just too big for my cheeks, but it does do a good job at blending cream blushes on very quickly. So I am gonna keep that one. This one here from Real Techniques, I love this one. This is the Expert Face Brush. This is my go-to to blend in the cream contour alongside this one here with e.l.f. I just love these 2 brushes. I am gonna keep both because again, I use a lot of cream contour products. Another one of the BH Cosmetics brush. It is really good. It is very packed and it's really good to get precise contour. So I'm gonna give this one up just because I don't use this one and I prefer the other 2. This is another one that I am gonna give up, the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. This one is good and sturdy, but again, I have the other one. I don't need to have this one. Both Real Techniques. This one has this side here that I never found any use for, but as of lately, I found really good use for it for nose contour. These 2, I absolutely love for blending out the concealer. This is the Real Techniques 413 brush, and then this one here is the Strobe and Blend brush. It's the same concept. It's a small, tiny little blender and it gets perfectly under the crevices of your eyes. perfectly dense. It just blends the concealer perfectly and flawlessly. This is a hard one, but I am going to give this one up. I'm going to keep this one because I use this every single day. This one here from Real Techniques, I used to use this to set my powder underneath my eyes, but I just find this to be way too small for me. I never reach for this one ever, so I'm going to give this one up. This is all that we are keeping for foundations. I'm excited. Contouring and blush brushes. I have had this one here from MAC for about at least 15 years. And I love, 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 love this one. I found myself not using it for a very long time, but you know, the trend with the blushes, the winter blushes, the Patrick Ta crazy pigmented blushes, I found really good use for this. So I'm gonna keep this duo fiber brush. For blush brushes, I have two of the same exact ones. This one is the Morphe F4 brush. This is like my ride or die blush brush. It just does such a good job. It perfectly hugs into your cheek. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one up. I'm gonna keep this one. This is one of those brushes that I just cannot get rid of. Like this was a Lancome, I think number 6 blush brush. I've had this in my collection since the very beginning. I keep it near and dear to my heart, and I'm just not gonna get rid of it. It's just so soft and it is sturdy. It has been around for 15 plus years. I'm gonna keep this one just because I am that emotionally attached to this one. I can't seem to let it go. From Eco Tools, this is a precision blush brush. This is really good though for contouring. I prefer this with powder contour than blush just because it is very nice and precise. So I'm gonna give this one up. Talk about trash right here. Look at this. This is so wonky. I have thrown this across the room. I was an angry person. This one here is a Sephora number 45 brush. It has held through. It is a perfect contouring brush because it has the nice edge. This is too old and beat up to give away, so I am just gonna toss this one out. 3 contouring brushes here. Why 3? Is that excessive or what? This one here is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe JH05 brush. I'm gonna keep this one. This one is perfectly densely packed. It is super soft. This one is the MAC 105. I've had this for so long. MAC is just one of those things that it's heartfelt. It's just like you keep it because this is my very first contouring brush. Not gonna lie, it's a little scratchy, but I don't know, I'm way too emotionally attached to this, so I'm gonna keep this one, but I am gonna give this one up. This is the Morphe M437, which is supposed to be the dupe for the MAC one. Another blush brush here that I never, ever, ever reach for. This is the BH Cosmetics number 3 brush. It is very, very soft and very nice. I never reached for this one and it's just taking up space. Under eye setting powder brushes. I have 3 of these. These two are almost identical. These are both from Morphe. A little bit more precise. This one's a little bit more dense. I'm gonna keep the Jaclyn Hill one and I'm gonna give up the Morphe one. This is a good brush to layer powder blush on top of your cream. I'm gonna keep that. So this is now my contouring and blush brush here. So I'm excited. We're looking much cleaner. Way too many highlighting brushes. These are all from Morphe. They're literally the same thing. Like, I'm gonna give this one up. I'm gonna keep both of these because this one is a little bit more fluffy and this one's a little bit more precise for when you want a big bang highlight. I don't see myself needing this one, so I'm gonna keep these two. Nose contour brushes. This one I never reach for. This is a Morphe M173 brush. I don't even know why I got this. It's good for something, but I just never reach for it, so I am gonna give this one away. These both do the exact same thing. I'm gonna keep this one and I'm gonna give this one up. Why do I have this many blending brushes, really? These are the bigger crease brushes. So this BH number 7 brush, I really love how soft this one is and how it applies my crease color very nicely. So I'm gonna keep this one. These are the same exact Morphe brushes, the M441. So I am gonna keep one and I'm gonna give this one up. This is a Morphe M535 brush. This is very similar to the other brushes. I feel like this one is a little bit more precise, so I am gonna keep this one. This is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe, another crease big fluffy brush. I feel like I don't need it, but at the same time, I could use it. I don't know why, but I'm gonna just keep it. This one here is from BH Cosmetics. This one I never reach for, and I just feel like it's way too floppy. So I'm gonna give that one up. Another one that I never reach for, this is the BH Cosmetics number 8 brush. It is just not densely enough, and I just don't find myself used with this dual fiber brush for the eyes. So I'm gonna give that one up. From e.l.f., this is a concealer brush. This was all the rave way back in the day. It's too floppy, so it doesn't do a good job of blending my concealer. So I'm gonna give this one up. We have 2 of the same brushes here. We got Morphe M502. Let's just give one up. MAC 224. Who remembers this scratchy brush? I do. I'm gonna keep this one because it is near and dear to my heart. I just can't let it go. I know it's like, what's the point of these declutters? This one is the Sigma E40 brush. Who remembers this one? This is way back in the day. It is way too floppy for me. It is very nice and soft, so I'm gonna give this one up. These are more blending brushes that are more precise. They are more densely packed. This is for that outer corner. So this is the Morphe M433. I think I have 3 of them. MAC 217. Oh my God, this is way back in the day. The dupe of it is the Morphe M433. I actually really love the Morphe M433 more than the MAC one, but I'm attached emotionally to MAC. So I am going to keep both of these. However, I am going to give up this one here from Jaclyn Hill. I'm going to be giving up this one as well, the Morphe R39. And guess what? Another Morphe M433 here. Why? We got a Jeffree Star brush here. Never use this brush, so I'm going to give this one up. This one here from BH Cosmetics. I never reach for this one. Too densely packed. It doesn't really blend my eyeshadow well, so I'm going to give this one up. This one has a very nice tapered position. I am going to keep this one. Morphe M513 brush. This one is a little bit more longer and more pointed, so I do like this one to further define my crease area, so I'm going to keep that one. We have a Jaclyn Hill JH34 brush. It's like the same as this one. I am going to give this one up. This one's another from Morphe. It doesn't even have a name. I think this is from like a collection they collaborated with somebody, but I really like this one because it does apply my eyeshadow to my lid very nice. It has a nice felt tip here, so I'm going to keep that. This one does a really good job at applying my shadow also. It is a little bit less densely packed, so I'm going to keep that one. It's another Jaclyn Hill brush. I'm going to keep that one. This one is a BH Cosmetics number 9 brush. I really love this one to blend out the outer corners of my crease. It is very nice and fluffy, so I am going to keep that one. This is a Morphe R34 brush. It has longer bristles, so I'm going to keep both of these. This is my absolute favorite brush to give the sultry, smoky look under the eyes. Jaclyn Hill JH37 brush. The perfect size. It's perfectly densely packed, and it just does such a nice job at smoking out the under eye. So I love this one. I am going to keep that. Similar to the one that we saw, but this one's just a little bit longer, and I never ever reached for this one, so I'm going to give this one up. Another Jeffree Star brush here, JS9 brush. I never reached for this one, like ever, so I'm going to give this one up. So we have a Morphe M514 brush. This one is my absolute favorite brush to blend in the inner and outer corner for the halo eye effect. This one's very nice and small, and it does such a good job at giving that halo eye effect, so I am keeping that one. This one is like the sister of the M433, but even smaller, so I do like this one too to go in a little bit more precise with my eyeshadow. I'm going to keep this one for sure. I have been enjoying this Morphe E28 brush. It has a really nice shape to it, and it does such a good job at giving your eyes a very well-defined crease. So I really like this one. I am keeping that one. I never reached for this one. This is the Morphe M411 brush. It is way too scratchy, so I'm just gonna give this one up. I am getting rid of this one. This is an Anastasia Beverly Hills brush. This came with one of her palettes. I mean, I never used this like ever, so I'm gonna give this one up. All right, that is starting to look so much better. So we have pencil brushes. This MAC 219 pencil brush, like who did not poke their eye out with this? I'm just tossing this one out. This just feels like a hazard. Morphe M506 brush, my favorite brush to smoke out my lash line. It's fluffy enough, and it's the perfect size to get underneath the lash line, so I am gonna keep that one. Another one from Morphe. It has tighter bristles, so I'm gonna keep both of these. I am gonna get rid of this one though. This one is from BH Cosmetics. This is too dense. This one's from Jeffree Star. This one I never reach for, and I love the other ones more, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. This one here from Jaclyn Hill, a little bit more precise, but I never reach for this one ever. I'm gonna give this one up. And this one here is another Morphe brush. I mean, they all do the same thing. I'm gonna keep it just in case I need to use it for something else. Talk about packing brushes. Brushes meant to pack eyeshadow to your lid. I never use this Jeffree Star one. It's too short, so I'm gonna give this one up. I actually really love this one here from BH Cosmetics to pack the inner corner highlight. I keep that one. This is the MAC, I think it's a 218 brush. I don't know, but I never use this. This is just too small for me, so I'm gonna give this one up. We got another Morphe brush here, 166 brush. I do like this one because it is very nice. It has a good size. Love the shape of this one, so I'm keeping that. A Morphe M522. I have not used it not one single time, and it's been sitting in my collection for I don't know how long, a couple years now, so I'm giving this one up. These two here from Jeffree Star and Morphe, two of the same brushes. I'm gonna keep one, and I'm gonna give one up. This is a JS6 brush. So this is really nice to pack in your eyeshadow, but it's still fluffy enough that you can use as a blender also. So this is a Morphe M224 brush. I really like this one because it is a duo fiber. So this is really good if you want to pack on cream shadow, and I'm going to keep that one. Oh, this is so way back in the day, the MAC 209. Do you guys remember this? I've had this in my collection for so long, but this brush is so tiny. It's just too tiny for me. My lids are not that small. And I have this one that's even tinier. This is the JS10 brush. I never use this one. I'm gonna keep the MAC because it's close to my heart, but I'm gonna get rid of this one. Under eye liner brushes, I'm gonna keep this one. This is a Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH43 brush. I really like this one because it's not as thin as this one. It does such a beautiful job to smoke out and tight line that lash line. It's just way too thin, so I'm gonna give this one up. This one here, I never use for my under eyes, just too tiny, but I do find good use for it for my nails, whenever I wanna clean up around my nails, so I'm gonna keep that one. JS7 brush, I never use this, but I'm gonna keep it just in case if I ever wanna do my brows, the feather brow, which never looks good on me, by the way. These are inner corner highlight brushes. I never use this one. I'm gonna give this one up. This one right here is my favorite brush for the inner corner highlight. This is a Morphe Jaclyn, a JH39 brush. I'm gonna keep this one. Another random one, a itty bitty. I never use this one. I'm giving this one up. This is a Morphe M431. It is very similar to the MAC one. It is just too scratchy. It is a hazard. I am just giving that one up. Why do we have so many itty bitty brushes here? This is a Morphe brush. Very tiny, never use. I'm giving it up. Lastly, I found one more brush here. This is the Morphe E62 brush. This one, I never use it. It's just too sharp edged for me. So I'm gonna give that one up. We have decluttered our brushes. Here's what we have left. I am so excited to finally be able to feel good, do my makeup in peace, and not have to go crazy with so many brushes. I'm excited. I'm just gonna put them up. Look at this, I feel so accomplished right now. So accomplished. Much nicer, much cleaner. This is what we're going to be donating. I'm excited. Alrighty, we have clean brushes. This is your sign. Go clean your brushes. All right guys, that completes my brush declutter. Thank you again so much for watching. Let me know down below in the comments if you enjoy this kind of video. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.